This episode of Explaining Ad Tech to a Baby brought to you by the Blizzard of 2016, the closing of daycare, and Sarah Jennings from the Millennial Media Creative Services team. Yay! Here we are, our first episode of Explaining Ad Tech to a Baby. Our baby today is Riley. She is almost 8 months old. And I'm explaining ad tech to her today because she needs to understand that formula is not free and somebody has to buy it for her, and she needs to understand where her food comes from. Yeah? Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about today is the SDK, right? So that stands for Software Development Kit, all right? So it's a little piece of code that we put in all the apps that we work with that allows us to serve ads there. So let's just get a little bit more into that and tell you a little bit more about what that means. What do you think, Rye? Sounds good? Okay. Let's take it back a little bit. All right. So when we let's talk about computers, right? So back in the 90s, when Al Gore invented the internet, right? Everyone had computers. And you would go on the internet using a program called a browser, right? And so the browser, we were able to get into the code of the browser, and every website worked on every browser, in theory. So we were able to work with a certain set of code to put ads into websites. I think I'm losing you here. Are you with me? Okay, good. So then when phones came along, right? Well, phones have browsers too. So it was a pretty easy step to take it from ads in a computer browser to ads on a phone browser. We just kind of stuck them on there, right? Because it was no big deal. It's just websites, and it's just different kind of browser. So we were able to just move it to a different place, right? Isn't that good? That's what we did, right? And you'd say, hey, if that's how easy it was, we would all be bajillionaires and I would be wearing Gucci. But ladies and gentlemen, it's harder than that. This baby is wearing Carter's, all right? So the next thing is, if you think about a phone, right? Let's just draw the phone here. So we've got a phone, right? It's got different things in the hardware that let us do stuff. So it's got a camera, which I use to take thousands of pictures of you. It's got a gyroscope in there. It's got all this cool tech, just the same way that your laptop has RAM and it has all the stuff inside that makes the hardware work. So on top of the phone, there's a software layer, just like there is in the computer. So there's a software layer, and in phones we call that software layer apps. All right, just hang in with me just a couple more seconds. I know you've been super, super tolerant. So the apps, it turns out that on a phone, a browser is actually one of the apps. And so, yeah, I know. So we were able to actually just get through to the hardware layer of the phone through the browser app because it let us, right? Whereas when we went in and we said, okay, cool, well, we can run in browsers. Now there's a whole bunch of other apps that want to make money too. How can we advertise in there? And we went in and we said, okay, we're going to try it. But every time we went in, it wouldn't let us go through. Now, why wouldn't it let us do that? Why can't we advertise in any other app? Since we can advertise in the browser, why can't we advertise in other apps? Well, the easiest way to explain that is to kind of come back over here to the computer. All right? So, Riley, when you're making spreadsheets, right, you use a program called Microsoft Excel. Yes. So Excel, I think we all have Excel on our computers, right? Excel is a different program in the computer than the browser is, right? So the browser already has our technology built into it. However, Excel does not. So if I wanted to run an ad in Microsoft Excel, I'd have to go talk to Excel, and I'd have to give them some code to put into Excel that would make the link between the ad and this other program. Well, it turns out that that's exactly what happens with all the apps on the phone. We had to go, and that's actually why AOL bought Millennial Media, because Millennial had gone to 65,000 different individual apps and done exactly that. We had made that link between an ad and the program itself. So by putting our software into these apps, it actually allows us access to this hardware layer, which is how we get all of our data. It's how we get all of the pieces of information that we use to target, that we use to get location, that we use to get everything. And so it turns out that what we have made as a company is the software that we actually give to developers as a kit to put in to their apps, which allows them to make money, allows us to send them ads, which lets them make money, which lets me buy you silly stuff like this. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, Riley, do you understand? I think she gets it, ladies and gentlemen. That is it for our very first inaugural episode of Explaining Ad Tech to a Baby.